Hey, what's up? It's Philip from Easy Tutorials. If you ever wonder how to use Photoshop and you are just starting out, this video will help you out. I recommend downloading the PDF guide with 20 tips and tricks from the link in the description to have it handy every time you start a new project. Also, it contains valuable shortcuts to make your workflow easier. If you're ready, let's start. First, let's take a look at the Photoshop interface. When you first open Photoshop, you will see the home page. Over here you can open your projects by clicking on them or open from here. We want a new project, so we click New File. Over here you can choose project size templates and so on. Or change project properties on the right. Let's go with the basics. Go to Photo and choose default Photoshop size. Click Create. On the top of the screen you can see the toolbar. This contains various tools that you can use to edit your images. The toolbar is divided into several categories, such as Edit, Image, Layers, and so on. You can click on each category to see the different tools within it. Also, the toolbar is located on the left side of the Photoshop workspace and contains a variety of tools that you can use to edit and manipulate your images. Some of the most commonly used tools include the Marquee, Lasso, and Magic Wand tools, which allow you to select specific areas of your image, and the Clone Stamp and Healing Brush tools, which allow you to repair blemishes and imperfections in your images. The canvas is the area in the center of the Photoshop workspace where you will see your image displayed. This is where you will do most of your editing and image manipulation. If your interface looks different from mine, go Window, Workspace, and select Default Workspace so we can have the same layout and it will be easier for you to follow this tutorial. The Layers panel is located on the right side of the Photoshop workspace and allows you to manage different layers of your image. Layers are like transparent sheets that you can stack on top of one another to create more complex images. You can adjust the opacity, blend mode, and visibility of each layer to achieve different effects. Once you have familiarized yourself with the basic interface and tools of Photoshop, you can start editing your images. Some basic image editing tasks include adjusting the color and the contrast of an image, cropping and resizing images, and applying basic filters and effects. Now that you have a basic understanding of the interface layers and selection tools, you are ready to start exploring Photoshop and creating your own images. The most common way to import an image into Photoshop is by opening it from a file. To do this, go to the File menu and select Open. This will bring up a dialog box where you can browse for the image file you want to open. Once you have selected the file, click Open to bring it into Photoshop. You can also import images into Photoshop from the internet by downloading them to your computer and then opening them in Photoshop. To do this, find the image you want to download and right-click on it. From the menu that appears, select Save Image As and choose a location on your computer to save the image. Once the image has finished downloading, you can open it in Photoshop by going to the File menu and selecting Open. You can just drag and drop image from desktop to Photoshop. It will ask you to place image and it will create a new layer on the right side. Layers are a powerful feature and we will cover them in the next lecture. Layers are a powerful tool that allow you to create more complex images by stacking multiple images or elements on top of one another. To create a new layer in Photoshop, click on the Create a New Layer button at the bottom of the Layers panel. A new layer will appear in the panel and you can then add content to that layer by using any of the tools in the toolbar. Let's import a few images to Layers. Just drag and drop them to the canvas. To delete a layer, simply select the layer in the Layers panel and click on the Delete Layer button at the bottom of the panel. You can always undo this action, so don't worry. To rearrange the order of your layers, simply click and drag the layers up or down in the Layers panel. The layer at the top of the panel will be displayed on top of all the other layers, while the layer at the bottom will be displayed behind all the other layers. Blending modes allow you to change the way that the pixels in a layer blend with the pixels in the layer below it. To change the blending mode of a layer, simply select the layer in the Layers panel and choose a blending mode from the FX icon at the bottom of the Layer panel. Some common blending modes include Normal, Multiply and Screen, which can be used to create different effects such as darkness, color changes and transparency. Just hover over the layer to see its effect. Layer masks allow you to hide or reveal certain parts of a layer without permanently deleting or altering the content of the layer. To create a layer mask, click on the Add Layer Mask button at the bottom of the Layers panel. You can then use the brush tools to paint over the areas of the layer that you want to hide or reveal. On the left side, choose between black and white brush. One will delete and the other will paint the layer again. To switch between these options, click the arrow icon. You can disable or delete the mask if you right-click on the layer mask and click Disable or Delete. Clone Stamp and Healing Brush tools are essential for repairing blemishes and imperfections in your images and are easy to use even for beginners. The Clone Stamp tool allows you to copy a specific area of your image and paste it over another area of your image. To use the Clone Stamp tool, select it from the toolbar and then hold down the Alt key and click on the area of your image that you want to copy. Then release the Alt key and click and drag the Clone Stamp over the area of your image that you want to repair. The Clone Stamp will copy the pixels from the source area and paste them over the target area. You can adjust the size and hardness of the Clone Stamp brush using the options in the top toolbar. The Healing Brush tool is similar to the Clone Stamp tool, but it automatically blends the copied pixels with the surrounding pixels to create a seamless repair. To use the Healing Brush tool, select it from the toolbar and then hold down the Alt key and click on the area of your image that you want to copy. Then release the Alt key and click and drag the healing brush over the area of your image that you want to repair. The healing brush will automatically blend the copied pixels with the surrounding pixels to create a seamless repair. Don't forget to download your PDF guide to check out some awesome tips and tricks to help you get the most out of the Clone Stamp and Healing Brush tools. To add text to an image in Photoshop, first select the Type tool from the toolbar on the left side of the screen. Then click on the image where you want the text to appear and begin typing. To format the text, you can use the options in the top toolbar. Here you can adjust the font, size, color and alignment of the text. You can also use Character panel on the right side of the screen to further customize the text. To apply text effects in Photoshop, first select the text layer in the Layers panel. Then go to the Layer menu and select Layer Styles. From here, you can choose from a variety of effects such as drop shadows, stroke, inner shadows and gradients. Play with these effects to achieve your desired results. To remove a text effect, simply click the FX icon next to the layer in the Layers panel and select Clear Layer Style. The Move tool is very useful and frequently used tool in Photoshop, as it allows you to easily move, reposition or rearrange the elements in your image. Here is a tutorial on how to use the Move tool. Select the Move tool from the toolbar on the left side of the screen or use the keyboard shortcut V. Use the Move tool to click and drag any element in your image to a new location. You can also hold down the Shift key to move the element in straight lines. You can also use the Move tool to rotate or scale elements in your image. To align elements in your image to specific locations or to each other, you can use the Align options in the options bar at the top of the screen. When you are finished moving elements in your image, you can save your changes by going to File, Save, or using the Ctrl+S shortcut. Remember to always save your work frequently, as you never know when you might accidentally lose your document or encounter some other issue that could cause you to lose your work. To create and edit vector graphics using the pen and shape tools in Photoshop, follow these steps. Select the pen tool from the toolbar on the left side of the screen. Use the pen tool to draw a path by clicking and dragging on the canvas. To create a straight line, simply click and release. To create a closed shape, click on the starting point of the path to close it. You will see a small circle. That indicates that the shape will be closed. To edit the path, use the Direct Selection tool, found in the toolbar alongside the pen tool, to select and move individual points on the path. You can select the whole path and right-click and select Fill Path. Over here, select Color and hit OK. To create a shape using a shape tools such as rectangle, circle or triangle, select the desired shape tool from the toolbar and click and drag on the canvas to create the shape. To edit the shape, use the Direct Selection tool to select and move individual points on the path. You can also use the Properties panel found on the right side of the screen to adjust the shape size, color and other properties. Remember to use Undo command, Ctrl+Z, if you make a mistake or want to revert to a previous version of the graphic. Practice using the pen and shape tools to get the feel for how they work, and don't be afraid to experiment and try new things. In this section, we will covering the basics of using filters and effects in Photoshop to enhance and modify your images. To begin, open an image in Photoshop that you would like to apply filters and effects to. To access the filters in Photoshop, go to the Filter menu at the top of the screen. From here, you will see a list of all the available filters. To apply a filter, simply click on the desired filter and it will be applied to your image. Some filters have additional options that can be modified, such as intensity or blend mode. To add an effect to your image, go to the Layer menu at the top of the screen and select Layer Styles. From here, you can choose from a variety of effects such as shadows, glows and bevels. To adjust the intensity of settings of an effect, simply double-click on the effect in the Layers panel and the dialog box will appear with options for customization. When you are finished applying filters and effects, be sure to save your image by going to File menu and selecting Save As. Remember to always be creative and have fun when working with filters and effects in Photoshop. If you want to output the image for print, go to File, Print and make sure that the correct printer is selected. You can further position image on the canvas. You can then adjust the print settings as desired and hit print when ready. If you want to export the image for the web, go to File, Export, Export As. This will open the new dialog box. Over here you can choose the file format you want to use, such as JPG or PNG. Adjust the quality settings and resize the image if necessary. Once you have made your desired changes, click Export to save the image for the web. Thanks for watching this Photoshop beginner tutorial. I hope that you find it helpful and that you now have a better understanding of how to use Photoshop. If you have any questions or would like to see more Photoshop tutorials, be sure to leave a comment below. Don't forget to like and subscribe to the channel for more great content. Until next time, happy editing!